I have spent the last several weeks since Tarkir Dragonstorm released building what I consider to be the ultimate Dragon Brawl deck. And now, I'm going to present it to you. Let's go. Welcome to the Attic Mana Dad here. It's the channel where we explore what's fun in Magic, mostly on Arena. On Arena today, it's the ultimate dragon deck. So many new dragons came in with Tarkir Dragonstorm, so I'm going to fold those in with all the other best dragons we have available on Arena to build my version of the ultimate dragon deck. And the eagle-eyed among you may have noticed we do have 105 cards in this deck list. I have yet to make the last 5 cuts. It's been painful just to get to 105, okay? But I figured I'll talk about all the cards and why I like them, and then you can do your 100 cuts, or you could just click on the deck list in the description. Then you can find my last 5 cuts and play this deck list if you like. But let's talk about it, because there's just so many awesome dragon cards available on Arena. First decision we had to make was who's going to be the commander. Because if you do type legendary, type dragon, okay, and you want probably, if you want to play all the dragons, you want it to be Wooburg Gold. So you actually have a decent amount of commanders to choose from. So I thought about, Niv Mizzet Gold Pact, Niv Mizzet Reborn, Niv Mizzet Supreme. This is my favorite order of pizza. Ramos Dragon Engine, or Tiamat, Tiamat's very, very popular right now, as you can see, as you can understand why. But I'm going with Kyodai. I actually think Kyodai is the strongest 5-color dragon commander for Brawl. And why you say that? Because, okay, Tiamat, or Tiamat, do you say? Is a 7/7 for 7 that enters. If you cast it, you get 5 dragon cards into your hand. So it's a draw 5, which is pretty good. Especially considering now the dragons you can get have spells attached to them with the omens. And a couple of them have adventures. So we'll talk about that in a sec. But Brawl also cares a lot about casting cost, and a 4 mana, and it has a useful ability which it enters another target permanent gains indestructible for as long as you control Kyodai. We're not really a control deck. I mean, obviously, if you're going to build a control version of this, Kyodai is a slam dunk, but just having that ability is pretty nice. And then the Wooburg thing at the end, trinket text, +5/+5 until end of turn. Okay, so that's the commander. Kyodai, Soul of Kamigawa, 3/3 flash flying, gonna give something indestructible when it enters. How are we gonna play all these gigantic dragons is always the first question. And if you saw the Ugin deck, or if you played against the Ugin decks that just are 1,000,000 mana rocks, we're doing something kind of similar, but with dragons. So we're gonna ramp with stuff like Birds of Paradise. We get specific dragon ramp like Dragonlord's Serpent, Dragonlord's Servant, and Orb of Dragonkind. Reckless Barbarian is a fun one. It's just a 2/2, but we can sack it to get a little burst of 2 red mana, which is always useful in a dragon deck. Sarkhan, Dragon Ascendant, is new in the Dragonstorm, in Tarkir Dragonstorm. He's a 2/2. When he enters, you may behold a dragon. Not going to be difficult in this deck. Put a +1/+1 counter on him. And then until end of turn, that's when a dragon you control enters. You get a +1/+1 counter on Sarkhan. Until end of turn, he becomes a dragon in addition to his other types, and he gains flying. If you're talking about 2 mana ramp into the north, rampant growth. Scaled Nurture, again, a 2 mana ramp for dragons, also going to gain us some life, which is probably useful to survive. Arcane Signet is a slam dunk, as is Cold Steel Heart. We can also, because we're just so heavy on dragons, we can run Pillar of Origins. It's maybe a bit iffy as a mana rock, because it's not going to help us with our non-dragon spells, of which, we have all these ramp spells that aren't dragons, but really useful for our 5-color dragon stuff. Solar Transformer. This is a rock that often gets forgotten, but it's 2 mana. It does enter tapped, but you can 3 times tap it to get a mana of any color with your energy. Carnelian Orb of Dragonkind. This has been alchemized, so it is 3 mana. You tap to add a mana of any color. And if that mana is spent on a dragon creature, it gains haste until end of turn, which is really, really good. Hopefully you'll see that in the games. Dragon Speaker Shaman. This is also 3 mana, but our dragon spells are going to cost 2 less to cast, which is awesome. Sarkhan Fireblood can also +1 to give us 2 mana to spend on dragons, which is nice. Jade Orb of Dragonkind. This is the green version, but instead of haste, we're getting +1/+1 and hexproof until our next turn. We know we're going to get at least a turn around with the dragon, which is nice. Sarkhan Soul of Flame. Dragon spells cost 1 less to cast. He's actually got a good body. He's a 2/4. And whenever a dragon enters, we're going to have Sarkhan become a copy of it until end of turn, which is nice. Also got another 3 mana Dragon Rock with Dragonstorm Globe. There's a 1 blue mana guy that can search this up. That's an 0/3, and you pay 2 and tap him, and he can search this up. I didn't put that in the end just because there wasn't room, but Dragonstorm Globe it does have a little combo there in Tarkir if you haven't played Limited and aren't aware of it. Also in Tarkir, we got these encroaching spells. This one puts in or I guess Dragonstorm spells they're called. I don't know what they're called. But there's a cycle of these. And when a dragon enters, we get it back to our hand. In this case, this is the green one. It's going to ramp us 2 basic lands, which is nice. I hope I have enough basic lands in the deck. Lots of fun lands to play with this. Galazeth Prismari is a dragon that can ramp us with treasures. Goldspan Dragon likewise. And then Segu Wildling, not ramp per se, but we can search our library for a basic land, reveal it, and put it into our hand, which is nice. Caustic Exhale. This is removal that cares if we have dragons. Dispelling Exhale. So there's a whole exhale cycle. Again, if you haven't played the limited format, it's really fun. Give it a shot. But also be aware, there's this exile cycle. If you can reveal dragons, you're going to get a bonus. In this case, almost a hard counter for 1 and a blue. Because if you can reveal that dragon out of your hand or on the battlefield, they have to pay an extra 4, which is, for most of the game, pretty hard to do. Dragon's Fire deals 3 damage to a creature or planeswalker, but if we reveal a dragon card, then it deals damage equal to the power of that card or creature instead. Invasion of Tarkir is another one. When it enters, we can reveal any number of dragon cards from our hand, and when we do, it deals X +2. So baseline 2, even if we don't have any dragons in our hand for some reason, but we can scale up quite a bit in this deck. With that Molten Exhale, this is the red Exhale. This is 4 damage and gets flash speed if we have a dragon. Masked Vandal, the other thing to consider when you're doing any kind of Typal deck is Changelings, and Masked Vandal is a great one to throw in because it is artifact and enchantment removal that also counts as your creature type and only costs 2 mana. So love the Masked Vandal. Piercing Exhale is our green version of this. It's a bite spell, and we can tack on a Surveil 2. Spit Flame, this is just a personal fun one for me. It is 3 mana to deal 4 to only a creature, which is a bit iffy in Brawl. But whenever we're playing a dragon, we can tack on an extra red and get this back. So we can just loop this, which is kind of hilarious. Scourge of Valkis is a dragon that once it's out, we can start pinging down X damage to any target where X is the number of dragons we control. Disruptive Stormbrood. Here's one of the Omen cards. If you're not familiar with this, it looks like an adventure, but it's not. The Omens are spells attached to dragons in this, at least in this format, and they get shuffled back into the library. So you can draw the dragon again. So nice little cheap small creature removal there with Petty Revenge. And then for 5 mana, we can play a dragon that also blows up an artifact or enchantment. Twin Maw Stormbrood. This is the red and white version of it. It has a 5 damage to target creature without flying, and then it comes in 5/4, gains 5 life, which is no joke, even in Brawl, where you start with 25 life. Tyrant of Kir Ridges. This one, when it enters, is going to deal 4 damage to a target. It is 6 mana, but you know what? That's okay. We're fine with that in dragons. Sword Coast Serpent, we get a little bit of interaction. Not strictly removal, but we can bounce something. Could be removal for a token. And then on the other side, so this one is an adventure. Pay attention to that. On the other side, it's a 7 mana 6/6 that can easily get unblockable. And then we got an alchemy card here that you might not be aware of. Draconic Debut deals X damage to any target, and then the next dragon's creature spell you cast costs X less to cast. So it's ramp plus removal. Pretty obvious include in this deck. Now I know I don't always put alchemy cards. Usually I try to build an EDH legal version or one that's easy to convert to an EDH legal version, but in the case of dragons, there's just too many good cards that are alchemy that I felt like to really fit the moniker of the ultimate dragon deck, I had to put them in. So we got Dragon Master Outcast. I've never seen this guy make a 5/5. He always eats removal before, but you know what? A 1 red mana, eat your opponent's removal spell is not the worst card in the world. We've got Daragaz's Whelp, which is another alchemy card here. It's a 2/1 with kicker of 1 and a red and flying. Whenever you draw a dragon card, it gets +1/+1, and when it enters, if it was kicked, you get to seek a dragon card, which means just pick a dragon comes into your hand at random, and this creature and that dragon each perpetually get +1/+1. So that means stays in your hand if you were to bring it back from the graveyard, what have you. Dragon Hatchling is just another cheap dragon. It's an 0/1, but if we do need stuff on the battlefield, why would we want a cheap dragon, you might ask? Well, where is it? Mox Jasper, right? This is the deck for Mox Jasper. Man of any color, Mox, activate only if you control a dragon. So we like our cheap dragons. Shivan Devastator can be as cheap as you have mana for. Dragon Hatchling. Fearsome Whelp, another must include in my opinion. It's an alchemy card, 1/1 haste. Just every end step, each dragon card in your hand is costing 1 less to cast, so it helps you get those dragons out quicker. Runescale Storm Brood is I don't know why I have this, and this should be in the interaction section. That is also another one of the Omen ones, and the Omen is to counter a target spell with mana 2 or less, and then it comes down as a 2/4 that pumps when you cast non-creature spells, such as all of these mana rocks. In terms of card advantage or card selection, we've got Roiling Dragonstorm, which is the blue version of this enchantment. Just draw 2, discard 1, and it's going to bounce back when it comes to your hand. Very easy to just loop that in this deck. We've got the Dragonologist, which is going to protect our dragons and also draw us a dragon or an instant or sorcery. Black Market Connections can draw us cards. It can make dragons because it makes the 3/2 colorless shapeshifters. It can make treasures, so it can fix us. Black Market Connections basically does everything. Phyrexian Dragon Engine, if we're getting our hand down or we need to loop through our hand and get some big dragons out and get some new cards, new interaction in, we've got that. Realm Walker, we can play dragons off the top of our library, and it is a dragon because it has Changeling. We've got the Decadent Dragon with the adventure that lets us exile the top 2 cards of an opponent's library and get those. And whenever it attacks, it makes a treasure token. It just kind of does it all there. Emrith Desert Doom is another one that's just really hard for opponents to deal with. It's ward 4 as long as it's untapped. When it hits, you're going to draw cards. So that's just straight value. Breaching Dragonstorm. This card is the red Dragonstorm. It is hilarious. I recommend you check out Saffron Olive's video of a standard deck based on a Japanese small tournament, notoriously. And just, popping off with Dragonstorm. You can actually pop off with this in limited. It's very easy in this deck to breach into a dragon and it comes back to your hand and then you play it the next turn. Or if you have enough mana, play it again. And you just do that over and over. And it's a really fun card. Stormshriek Feral. This has an Omen that lets us do some card selection. Also gives us a hasty threat, which is always good when you're up against a Planeswalker. Sarkhan Unbroken, maybe a little bit outclassed as a Planeswalker, but I cut almost all the other Sarkhans because look at that ultimate. -8, search your library for any number of dragon creature cards, put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle. That is the magical Christmas land we are going for in this deck. Meringue River Regent. This is another limited all-star here. The Omen is draw 3, discard 1 for 4 mana, and that's instant speed. And then once you get to 6 mana, you get to bounce 2 things, and it's a 6/7 body. It's just so hard to deal with. Of course, in a dragon deck, you're going to have Mirim, Sentinel Worm. This is maybe what you would consider the ultimate dragon commander. I've already made a Mirim deck, so you can go check that out. Obviously, I made it before Tarkir Dragonstorm came out, so we didn't have all the cool payoffs. But flying, Ward 2, 6/6, and then as you cast non-token dragons, or as they come into play, you get tokens of them. And if they're legendary, it doesn't matter, because the token is not legendary. So double dragons, get your NES ready. Also, another one that's just fun. It is 9 mana, so, how often are we going to get to do this? Maybe not that often, but if you didn't know, it is on Arena. Dragonstorm. Search your library for a dragon, put it on the battlefield, shuffle, storm. Okay? So probably wait until you can at least cast one of these cheaper spells, then play this and get, your 2 favorite dragons. It could be any dragon. You get to search it up. So whatever dragon you need, and we're getting to the top end. There's some good ones. In terms of board wipes, there's Breath Weapon, which is 2 damage to each non-dragon creature, just to keep the little creature decks in check. Depends on the meta. I don't know if you want to run this or not. We'll see if it ends up in the final deck list. Definitely want Scavenger Regent, though. This has been pretty proven in my experience in Limited. The Omen side, each non-dragon creature getting -X/-X. And then a 4/4 for 4 with Ward, discard a card is pretty awesome. Crux of Fate has the option to destroy all non-dragon creatures. Pretty great. Dragonback Assault is a board wipe, plus then every time your land hits, you're going to make a 4/4 dragon, and we do have a ton of fetch lands in this deck, so that plays really nicely with those. There's Ureni, Song Unending, which I'm considering a board wipe, because when it enters, it deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers your opponents control, where X is the number of lands you control. So if we somehow cast this when we have 7, 8 lands, we're going to be able to pick off a lot of our opponent's board, if not the entire board. It's going to be fantastic. We have a little bit on this last column that I consider like protection dragons. Rith Liberated Primeval gives other dragons Ward 2, and it itself has Ward 2. And then at the beginning of our end step, if a creature or planeswalker an opponent controlled was dealt excess damage this turn, we get a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. Not 2 shabbers. Of course, you got to run Call the Spirit Dragons, or I think you do. This is the mythic enchantment, giving all our dragons indestructible, and then we get to put +1/+1 counters. And if we happen to get 5 dragons of 5 different colors getting counters on it, it's not inconceivable in this deck. We win the game. Pretty good. Dreadlinorm has the Scale Deflection instant, which is untap, give hexproof, and then it's just a 7/6 body that's hard to tangle with. So that rounds out the cards. In the mana base, Cave of the Frost Dragon, we got snow-covered lands to work with into the north for our basics. Of course, Boseiju. Got to run Dragon Skull Summit. It's the only red-black land. Actually, well, not maybe the only red-black land, but just had to run it for the name, basically. It's a flavor win. And do have a bunch of the Surveil lands to work with our fetch lands, so we can fetch up whatever we need. Jetmir's Garden is a very useful tri-land if we need it. Cavern of Souls, of course, because you're going to be able to choose dragons. Command Tower, Fabled Passage. Haven of the Spirit Dragon is a dragon-based land. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. You can only use it for a dragon creature spell, but that's fine for us. And then 2 tap, sacrifice it, return target dragon creature card from your graveyard to your hand. So we can use it to buy back a dragon in the late game. Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon is a new one from TDM, Tarkir Dragonstorm. Similar thing, tap, add 1 mana of any color, spend only to cast a dragon spell or an omen spell. And then we can sacrifice it, search for a dragon, reveal it, put it into our hand. Mox Jasper we talked about. Also Secluded Courtyard. Temple of the Dragon Queen is a bit interesting. Normally would be a tap land, but because we have so many dragons, hopefully won't be. If we can manage to get enough dragons out, we got 3 Tree City to help ramp us. Got some MDFCs that I'm counting as lands, but they can also be some interaction there. And that is the 105 card version of the deck. It should be pretty awesome. I hope you'll stick around and watch the gameplay. And I guess at the wrap up, you'll hear me talk about what I cut for the last 5 cards and why. But thanks for joining me. See you at the end of the video. Adios.
Hey, it's me, Overlord of the Hauntwoods. Actually, haunting and overlording are just my hobbies. My day job is managing the YouTube algorithm. I try to make sure lots of negative, conspiracy-laden clickbait shows up in your feed. You know, nightmare fuel. Whatever you do, don't like, comment, or elder gods forbid, subscribe to a channel like this one, okay? We don't need your feed filled up with people who genuinely enjoy playing Magic like this so-called Manadad. He puts deck lists and other useful links in the description. He even shows real win rate stats at the end of the videos. Yikes. Clicking on positive, helpful videos takes away from the time I could be spending haunting woods or putting my friend Writhing Chrysalis into draft boosters. But you don't have to take it from me. 9 out of 10 players who want to unban grief agree. Now let's see. What is your racist uncle clicking on today? He has impeccable taste. Let me send some of those videos your way.
Oh, it's CODIS. One of my most popular videos in a long time. Well, let's see if the dragons can beat the Codians. We're going to want something green. I think, will we save Boseiju? Possibly to blow up some... Blow up some equipment. We could get a Surveil. Yeah, that makes sense. Stomp. Well, I don't think dealing damage to CODIS is going to make a difference. Might want that as a land. Let's go find blue. We can Dragonologize. Oh, attacking with Llanowar Elves, eh? Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon. We'll do that or just Windswept Teeth, maybe. Another Surveil. Make sure there's a dragon on top we want to hit with this. Decadent Dragon. Yeah, that's all right. Infernal Grasp, okay. I don't like having us having hexproof dragons. Well, bounce on CODIS is interesting. We don't have a lot of ways to deal with CODIS otherwise. Should we take the bounce, or should we just get the Decadent Dragon and plan to make it indestructible? Let's see. Aether Spark. Interesting. Ooh, we got Mox Jasper. Can Boseiju that Aether Spark. We do need to get a dragon down. Question is, do we let them get one more turn with Aether Spark? They can plus it again. They'll have a 3/3, which is not a great block for us. Actually, they can -5 already. Stop on their upkeep. Hope they don't run many basics. I just ramped him. Codis is here. Oh, off the top. We will behold a dragon. Autopay. Behold the one you already know about. Back to the command zone with ye. And I think I will get this down. I like the card advantage, but I may want to flash in Kyodai to make it indestructible. Oh, no. Binding them old gods. Look up their ramp. I want to give stuff Death Touch. Hit you for 2. There you go, ramping. Lisa Rampinelli. If they're Codis with auras, that really slowed them down because they can't play the auras until opponent. Strict Serenade. Okay. That's not instant speed, so yeah, it doesn't matter. We can blow it up, but we got nothing to spend the mana on. What do I need? Black. I can't flash in code. Kyodai, because the Mox Jasper's not on. Right. Oops, okay. Land Codis. Oh. Let's go get untap the red source. Start our attack. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yes, we can do 1 pump. Three steps ahead. Oh, just for draw purposes. Take 6. They're at 11. Now they're going to decide if they want to play Codis, tap out, and we flash in Kyodai and we can pump Kyodai. Helm of the Host. Okay, so they're going to hold up a counterspell. Let's do this now. If they've got it, they've got it. They had it. Back to the command zone. It's X plus 2 damage to any other target. So we could deal 2. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We could get him down to 2 life. It's gonna be hard for them to come back from. The other thing is we could flip this. We don't know if they have board wipes. now we have a must-remove creature that they pretty much have to remove main phase, because otherwise we can flash in Kyodai to save it. Alma the Host is some spicy meatball. Good game. Haha. Take that, Cotis. Oh, that's not what I want. I want
That was remarkable. I'm still just running that sequence through my mind. It happened really quickly. Nothing matches that. I can hardly believe it.
yeah. You gotta know when the control mage has got you. Time to scoop it up. When your dog poops, you gotta know when it's time to scoop it up. Playing some Ultimate Dragons up against the generic reject. Trying to fix the pop filter on my microphone. Alright. I was going to say no ramp, but I guess Sarkin can be a little bit of ramp. Do a Fabled Passage for white or black. Red's covered here. Against Nissa, Vital Force. Okay, plays an Elvish Mystic. They always seem to have an elf on turn one, don't they? Those green decks. We're choosing between white and black. I'll go with black, actually. Might get some card advantage here. 3 Tree City. We'll reveal the Draconic Dragon because we'll probably cast that. Pass the turn. They give us a. We'll just take out. Oh, Bristly Bill. That's a better target. Yep. Okay, well, we're gonna have to spend all our mana just to get rid of Bill. Oh no, we can't even get rid of Bill now. We can. Spit Flame. With good fortune. Okay. Adios, Bill. Hit you for 2. Take the lead. He's done with 5 loyalties, so this is doing 4 damage to any target. Is not great. Conduit of Worlds. Okay, just a landfall. Naming Dragon. Then I have to get the white there. If I do this, then I can't play Decadent Dragon yet. Let's get the Decadent Dragon going. Because Sarkin can become the dragon. Don't get to bring back Spit Flame though. That's sad. Wait, how did they bring back Bell? Can't do anything additional. They're all in on Bill. Oh my goodness. License to Bill. Oh, we needed a mana. Wait, does this make mana whenever its creature attacks? Yeah. Okay. And then we'll have a discount Ureni and we're going to be in good shape. Bye-bye, Bill. Oh, they got protection. No! Okay. Whew. Thought they had Snakeskin Veil for a second. Nice, yep. And toughness. 2 toughness, that's fine. 3 toughness. Still fine. 4 toughness. Goodness. Maybe I should play some oh, we can't even cast this? The Waystar. What happens if I play this? I can still play. No, it enters tapped. Alright. Don't make, these are just insects. Okay, so this guy's going to make a million insects. But hopefully eventually a Rennie comes and cleans that up. They're just going to conduit back Bristly Bill again. I cut this from my landfall deck. Maybe I shouldn't have. Alright, Infinite Bill. Opponent's on the Bill loop. They're at 10. Maybe we just kill him in the air. Does opponent actually have Bill is not reach, right? How are they planning to survive here? Attack you for a bunch? Oh, right, that doesn't have trample. But I can pump this. Got it. Okay. Woohoo! Figured it out. Okay. Up against Mendicant Core Guidelight. Let's see how the Ultimate Dragon deck does. Need a refresher. This is a white-blue artifact commander. Okay. Got a good mix of mana. Guess we're just counting up to Sarkhan. We don't have any mana rocks. Should we take the free mulligan? Then again, Spitflame and Caustic Exhale both deal with the commander, so I think I'm going to keep it. Can surveil here. Oh yeah, we've got ramp. Dragon Hatchling, probably not that useful. They play a tap land, so that allows us to rampant le growth. And we do want black for sure. Look at that. Fabled Passage. Get a Shivan Devastator. We could do... What do we need? We need white for our commander. And then... Carnelian Orb of Dragonkind. And Caustic Exhale. We'll pay the 1. We don't have any other use for that mana. Don't need to cast a 0/0 Shivan Devastator. So it does give it haste. Double haste. Shadowfax's favorite. Okay, Emery. Okay, they got Simulacrum Synthesizer in the yard. Well, we have a wealth of choices. We could do Goldspan Dragon. We could do Sarkhan. We could do the Breaching Dragonstorm. Let's spin it to win it. Oh, we hit off the Dragonstorm. I think the correct play was probably Goldspan Dragon, but you know. Pretty lucky that we hit a 5-drop and not a, 0. There are some bad hits for it. Yeah, we need something to deal with that synthesizer. That's going to be a problem. How do these guys blow up artifacts, do they? Yikes! Did pause like they have some kind of effect for 1 mana, but not with the Ward 2 hanging out here. I don't know, treasure sacrifice for 2. Make a pretty big Shivan Devastator. I think maybe we just want to race because they're probably going to make a bunch of really big stuff on the ground. Nope. We're going to try to remove Rith. Rithstic Studies. Gives us treasures. Okay, and Swords to Plowshares. Okay. Well, we could make a gigantic Devastator. We were almost at the point there. Actually, we probably could have flashed in Kyodai. I guess that wouldn't have protected against Swords to Plowshares. And they can Chrome Mox and trigger the synthesizer. It's going to get a 2/2, I believe. Oh no, they don't trigger the synthesizer because it's not a mana value 3 or greater. Woo! Call the Spirit Dragons. I mean, it's kind of what we came to do, right? Guess we should have done it without the Carnelian Orb, but... well, that's a clue. So I can... Shivan Devastator for... yeah, I'll just pass. Solemn Simulacrum. Now they'll trigger. 5/5. Oh, because the land, they've got artifact lands, huh? I think it might be time for a big old board wipe. The Fearsome Whelp. So yeah, let's... we do it for X equals 4. Or we're not going to have any mana left over, are we? Not much. We could do it for X equals 3. Have enough to play the Fearsome Whelp. They'll still have their one guy, but that's okay. Attack you for 1. No, oh, well, we have 1 dragon in our hand. Meteor Golem. Gonna blow up the Spirit Dragon? Yeah. Now we should probably focus on winning. Deal 4 there. All of a sudden, just not drawing land. Oh, we can do X equals 3, right? Because we've got a discount. And that leaves Dispelling Exhale available. It's a cast trigger. Dispelling Exhale. Thought monitor. Ooh. All right. Think they got us, but you know what? We played Call of the Spirit Dragon, so can't call it a wasted game for sure. I mean, dragon. Let's just see what we hit off of Breaching Dragonstorm. You never know when you're going to get a board wipe. Encroaching Dragonstorm. And scoop. Okay, so how'd the Dragons do? Well, we went 3-8 for a 27% win rate, 40% on the play, almost 50% on the play, 70% on the draw. I do admit I scooped a couple times when opponents got out to a quick lead because I had to, you know, try to record this as fast as I could. As it was, I got interrupted anyway by my children. Oh. And there's at least one win I'm not going to show you because it was just an early scoop. So, on the other hand, we beat one of those annoying green landfall decks, and we beat Codis, which is the #1 commander as I record this. So, that's pretty awesome. If you enjoy Dragons, definitely, it could definitely still use some work here. But at least I've gotten you started. It's weird how it's like, do you see how it was like spinning the backs of the cards there? Well, anyways. Kyodai, if you prefer Tiamat, that's fine. I think Kyodai, I think I made a good case for Kyodai. I hope that the games you saw made a case for Kyodai. Mox Jasper is okay. We got it once. It was fine. It got turned off and then it got turned back on again. Caustic Exhale was fantastic. Draconic Debut was fantastic. Dragon Master Outcast is, as I said, just a removal magnet. Devastator is good against the Planeswalker commanders, so don't sleep on that. Birds we didn't see. Solar Transformer's great. I did put in Heliod's Intervention because I was facing so many artifact decks. We never did face the Ugin decks, which is just like, you know, artifact ramp, artifact ramp, artifact ramp. That scoops to Heliod's Intervention. So that's just a little tip for any deck that you're playing right now. If you want to beat the new Ugin, throw some Heliod's Interventions in your white decks. Dispelling Exhale was good. Dragonstorm was probably not great. That's a potential cut. Didn't see the Whelp. Hatchling is a definite potential cut. It is one of the cheaper dragons you can get, but boy, is it just outclassed as a creature. Doesn't even have haste. Dragon's Fire's good. Dragonlord's Servant just got removed instantly. Fearsome Whelp's great. Invasion of Tarkir, we did flip it, but people kept removing stuff, so we never did get to go off with Defiant Thundermaw, but I think it could be, it's at least fun. So if you're into trying to flip that and have some fun, that's good. Molten Exhale's great. Orb of Dragonkind we didn't get to use. Reckless Barbarian, we never used it for the ramp, but the fact that it was a dragon was relevant, so that was cool. Sarkhan Dragon Ascendant was great. Smashing didn't get to really use as removal, but I think this deck in general needs a bit more interaction, so I think I would keep Shatterskull Smashing. Into the North is good. Mass Vandal's good. Piercing Exhale is questionable. Just because how few creatures stay out in Brawl. but it's good value. Scaled Nurture is good. Stump Stomp was great. Signet Cold Steel Heart. Dragonstorm Globe was great when we were making token dragons coming in with +1/+1 counters. That was cool. Dragonologist was also a removal magnet, but I like it already replaces itself when it comes down. And so that's pretty good. Black Market Connections got played by our opponent. That was fantastic for opponent. Carnelian Orb of Dragonkind. I guess we got to use it for the haste at one point, right? Dragon Speaker Shaman. I mean, you're not going to see all the games because most of the games are annoying losses to opponents that just have counterspell everything. Spit Flame was kind of fun. We didn't get to bring it back, but it was actually useful. Jade Orb, didn't get to use that. Ridgeworks Battle, didn't really get to use that except as a land. Realm Walker, didn't come up. Sarkhan. Decadent Dragon, I like it. Attacking with Treasures was relevant. Scavenger Regent, didn't get to use the board wipe side of it, but could be good. Storm Brew didn't get that one. Encroaching Dragonstorm, I think maybe just cut this because we don't have enough. we almost went off with it in one game, and then we ran out of basics. So we ramped 3 lands with it, so we played it twice, but I think I'd rather have put that 8 mana into something else. Galazeth didn't draw it. Imrith didn't draw it. Crux of Fate, we actually had to use the dragon side because we went up against Valky and they kept stealing and playing all our creatures. So we had to wipe our own creatures. Goldspan's great. Haste is so good in this meta, just with all the, Planeswalker commanders. Scourge of Valkus never came up. Stormstreak Feral. Disruptive Stormbrood. Didn't come up, but I think it would be good. Wildling. Did we ever use it to search up a basic land? I'd probably still keep it in. Rith was good. Definite removal magnet because it would go off otherwise. Sarkhan Unbroken we did get to make a 4/4 with before it got removed. Call of the Spirit Dragon we got to play. I think I'm going to put that game in. And then Stormbrood got played against us, but it was good. Meringue didn't come up. Tyrant was decent. Maybe a bit overcosted now. Interesting to say about a card that came out, like a year and a half ago or something? Maybe 2 years ago, Brothers War, but that's where we're at. Dragonback Assault wasn't good when we drew it, but I think it has a potential. Depends on, what the meta is, if it's a bunch of little creature decks. Miram, didn't get to play Miram, sadly. I love Miram. If you like to watch Miram pop off and make double dragons, go watch the video I've already made of that. Ireni, we ended up discarding a lot. It's just so expensive, but it is sort of our top end here. The Sword Coast Serpent, I think we discarded when we shouldn't have in a game. And then a bunch of lands. Didn't really get to see, where is it? 3 Tree City happen. I mean, it was relevant just in the choosing a color thing, I think, at one point, but yeah. Anyways, that's the deck. Hope you enjoyed watching my version of the Ultimate Dragons deck. I have been Manadad, reminding you magic is a game so fun, even dads can enjoy it. Adios.